reason we're not to. Let's go.
You're listening to the DSM Podcast Network powered by Learfield. Talking Drake Athletics, the 515 podcast in 3, 2, 1.
Here we go.
All right, this is the 515 podcast on the Drake Sports Media Podcast Network. As always, we are powered by Learfield. We're also streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. You can also listen through the traditional form of podcasting through the free Varsity Network app. My name is Michael Admire. I am your host. It is the week of December 30th, and here are the headlines. I hope everyone enjoyed the holidays, enjoying the final few days of 2024. I certainly am, after an awesome day yesterday. Sunday fun day for Drake fans as the women's basketball team gets things started on the day with a dominating 74-54 win over Evansville. They begin MVC play where they will end MVC play this year at the Ford Center in Evansville. It was a 32-8-6 split for Katie Dennebeer, who was also just named the MVC Player of the Week. A great game out of the Bulldogs going on the road to open Missouri Valley Conference play. See Katie Dennebeer in there knocking down shots, and the Bulldogs come home with a win. More on the Bulldogs here in just a second. Back here on the home front, Drake football introduced their new head coach, Joe Woodley, to local media and then to a packed Knapp Center crowd Sunday afternoon. We're going to be joined by Coach Woodley here in just a few minutes. He's going to join us, so you make sure to stick around for that. As for the men's basketball team, well, they're 12-0. They just keep winning. One of just 4 unbeaten teams in all of college basketball. They win convincingly, 65-46 over Belmont. The defense swipes 13 steals, holding the Bruins to just 1 bucket and a stretch in the first half over a 10-minute span. Is incredible defensive performance out of the Bulldogs. All of that, and somehow they are still left out of the top 25. Just 2 spots out of the top 25, but still just dumb. I won't get on my soapbox here. I'm sure you've heard it on radio broadcast, so I won't dive into it anymore, but it is what it is. The men are back on the hardwood on New Year's Day. They will play UIC in Chicago. That is a 2:00 game on New Year's Day. Then they're back Sunday against Murray State in the Knapp Center. That is a nationally televised game on ESPN2. So make sure you're in the house, and you can just get here on Thursday and just hang out all weekend at the Knapp Center, because the women are also at home Thursday and Saturday. UIC and Valpo come to the Knapp. All right, so back to football. Director of Athletics Brian Harden made the announcement earlier last week that Joe Woodley would be the next man to lead the Bulldogs. And this comes just a few days after Coach Woodley led Grandview to an NAIA national championship in 6 seasons. Of course, wins the national championship, and then also never lost a regular season game. What Coach Woodley, his father Mike, and all the Woodleys involved in the program at Grandview, what they've done over there, nothing short of impressive. And we're so excited to have them be a part again of Bulldog Nation. I got a chance to talk to Coach Woodley earlier today. It was a fun conversation, and let's just say the Bulldogs are in good hands. Here is my conversation with Joe Woodley. We're now joined by the new Drake head coach, Joe Woodley. And Joe, man, got to cover some of your teams at Grandview when I worked at WHO 13. And I got to say, it was a little surreal to see you walk in Drake blue, and then also to see your dad Mike and all those guys in your family members in Drake blue. How was it for you during the press conference yesterday, officially being part of Drake Nation?
Yeah. First of all, Michael, thanks. Thanks for having me on this, and certainly very appreciative. Always have been appreciative of you and admired your work and followed you from your TV career to now and what you're doing now. And I think it's great that you have this role over here at Drake. And I feel very fortunate to be able to have you, to help us out with our football program. But yeah, I think surreal is the right word. It's been wearing red and black, red and white for 17 years, and to come over here and had to buy a blue tie, for the press conference. But and I think I may have made mention of it last night or at some point. I've talked to a lot of people in the last week, and I kind of forget who I've said what to, but it certainly feels like a family already, and that's really what we tried to create, at Grandview. And so that part of it has made the transition pretty easy. And, there's obviously a lot of work to do, a lot of work to be done, those kinds of things. But that was important to me, just having that family type atmosphere. And of course, I've known Brian Harden for a long time, known his family a long time. And of course, my brother Matt, he was a Drake basketball player, Drake graduate, and then he came back and coached again, and really kind of in the this revival era of Drake athletics. He was a part of that when Darren came back, took this job, and of course, Jenny Brown, the women's basketball teams obviously always had great success, but when Brian came, you just feel like this place has really come alive, and and to be a part of that, and and have that sense of of family is really what drew me to this thing. And just again, it's something new every 5 minutes right now. So just trying to gather all that stuff, trying to keep my composure a little bit as the best I can. But yeah, it feels great. It feels great to have blue on, and can't wait to help lead this football program and continue to build off the success that they've had, because they've always had really good success in football. And of course, Coach Stepsis has kind of gotten it back going again, at a high level here these past couple of years, and really it's my job, and the staff I surround myself with, to continue to put those guys in those positions to play for that, because that's their expectations right now, and that's a good thing. They expect to win, and they won a number of games close. From the outside looking in, for the most part, so it tells me they got a tough group, and I know a lot of them have moved on or graduated, but there's a lot of guys back in this program, to my understanding. And again, those are all the things I'm still trying to figure out and work out, and but we'll get there. We'll get there. And I'm just 9 days removed from our football season, so it's been a lot. It's been a lot of change, and but again, the change could have been a lot. Like I'm staying in my house, like I don't have to move and, add all those elements into it. That could certainly, I don't know how coaches do that stuff all the time. That's just not who I am. And, which hopefully should tell everybody here that, this is a move that I believe in, and, I'm probably loyal to a fault, to some extent. And I'm going to pour everything I have into this thing, and, help, people that wear the blue, hopefully they're proud.
Well, one thing is, first off, appreciate the kind words. That's really nice of you. I'm excited to work together and continue to build on what we've seen here over the last 7 years. As you mentioned, when Brian got here, and I followed just a couple months after him. So it's been fun to see that growth, and it's cool when these coaching searches pop open, and you get to hear from different coaches that are interested in the job, and to have you interested in this, and now have you in this position. I couldn't be more fired up, and to not only have you at Drake, but keeping the Woodleys, in Des Moines is important. I think if you guys would have left, it would have thrown the balance off a little bit here in this city. So one thing I love about Drake is the position that it plays in Des Moines. as Des Moines' hometown team. So keeping you around is big time. Also, seeing a Woodley back in the Knapp Center yesterday. I wanted to talk a little bit about that. I know you're a football guy. Just listen to you for 5 seconds. You know, you're a football guy. What was it like being back in the Knapp Center? Had you gotten a chance to be here when Coach was Coach Wood? When Matt was an assistant, or when was the last time you were back in the Knapp?
That was, well, I take that back. Well, first of all, the seats I had last night were the best seats I've ever had. I do know that. Brian hooked it up last night. I was on the floor, so I never had. And now there's not a bad seat in that arena, as we all know. But yeah, I was a little closer to the action than I'm used to last night, and so I was certainly very appreciative of that. But yeah, when of course you did go back, we're all getting old. Well, you're not, Michael. I am. I'm 44 now, and I know that's not old, but I was going to, the Knapp Center when Matt was a player back in, gosh, I don't even remember what years he was here, maybe 99 to whatever it was.
Yeah.
I can't remember when it was, but back in those days, and those were tough times for Drake basketball, trying to kind of get off the floor a little bit. And then, he came back as an assistant, and, and I've always, we've had a great relation. We had a great still do to this day with Darren DeVries. So I was a huge supporter of him and throughout his career before he even came to Drake. And of course, my brother Andy coached with Darren at Creighton, and Darren coached me in AAU basketball when I was like 16 years old. So, I came to, about every home game that I could. I think I went to a couple road games in Darren's era. And of course, Arch Madness. How the hell do you not go down to that? It's the best. And spent some time down there when I think I might have only went one of the years. I might have won a couple of them. It was one of the years where all those guys got hurt. I can't remember which year it was.
It's hard to pinpoint those years.
Yeah,
there's so many of them.
They were. But to answer your question, I mean, it has certainly changed. I came to a women's game. I think it was last year. My youngest daughter. They all my daughters play, they play hoops, but the youngest one, she's kind of a basketball junkie, and she forged a pretty good relationship with the assistant at Drake now, Kelly Greenway, who was over at Grandview, when I was there, and Kelly and I had a great relationship over there, and she'd always, give the girls a new basketball every year, or, shoes that weren't being used, or, just things like that. So always had great respect for Kelly. And, I don't know if it was a Christmas present, a birthday, I don't remember why, but of course Kelly got us great seats right behind the, kind of close to the bench, and she stayed after and talked to, my daughter thought that was the coolest thing in the world. And my daughter came over. Didn't they have a game here where they invited all the elementaries here?
Yes.
Not that long ago.
Yep.
So my daughter came over to that game and made sure she went up and tried to find Kelly after the game. And I know a long-winded answer there a little bit, Michael, but I mean, that is a great venue, and it's really been transformed over time. I mean, it's really changed and made it an intimate feel. And, it might have been the second time I'd been up in that, the
Schickler Club.
Courtside
Club.
That is a nice, a really nice touch to that arena. And, but yeah, again, that's just a testament and a credit to what Brian has created. And, I mean, I don't know what the crowds have been like, but holy smokes. I mean, that was a heck of a game to get introduced at as the head coach. Like I said, I don't know if the crowds have been like that, but man, you could really feel the electricity in there. And it doesn't hurt, by the way, that, hey, this basketball team is pretty damn good. I mean, holy smokes, 12-0 and might be ranked this week. And of course I've known of Ben McCullum for a long time. My wife grew up like down the street from him, and not down the street, but Ben's from Storm Lake. My wife's from, a fly speck on the map in Iowa, Alta, Iowa up there, and they're right by each other. So she's known of him. And of course, everybody, I shouldn't say everybody. I mean, if you're a sports guy, you follow success of Iowa people. And I saw what he was doing down at Northwest Missouri. And my brother Matt was coaching at Truman State. He was a head coach, and they coached against each other. And I know there's a lot of mutual respect there between my brother Matt and Ben. And of course, Ben was one of the first guys to reach out to me, and I don't know Ben well, and I'm looking forward to getting to know him a lot better, because I truly believe when you're when you're around successful people, it kind of rubs off a little bit. So really looking forward to that relationship. And And I texted him after the game last night. I'm like, man, you guys play hard, defense, fundamentals, and just tough basketball. Because when I walked in, I think they were down 7 or 8 points, and it didn't take long to kind of get it going. But I certainly anticipate going to a lot of more of those games, and I think this whole city and and this state should get behind it, because he's got something special going right now. And again, I think that's important for the rest of the athletic department. When one team's successful, I think it kind of adds fuel to the fire there. And of course Allison and I know they're kind of on a hot streak right now, and so it's but again, like I said, Michael, I can ramble. I can get going. I think that's my dad's quality I have in me, but I just enjoy people and being around them, and especially young people, and the job I get to do every day coaching football. And I'm excited. It's just so frustrating because the guys aren't around, and I want to meet them. I got to do a Zoom with them, those kinds of things. But it doesn't. There's no substitute for the real thing. But hey, Knapp Center's awesome. I know I went everywhere there. So
no, I mean it was. I hadn't realized you had been to as many games as you have over the last few years. So that's great to hear. And kind of several people have talked about it, but Marty Martin last spring, when Ben McCollum was introduced, just talked about how it's the golden era of Drake athletics, and it has everything to do with the coaches that are here, the people that are a part of all these programs. And I know a lot of the coaches reached out to you. I think you said maybe every single coach reached out to you. So that's really, really cool to hear. I wanted to get some insight here, because I think this is like your official first day on campus, being around for the day. So what are some of the, you got a lot to do, but what's at the top of the priority list as a new head coach?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, it was, and as it was for Brian, I guess today, really at this point, the first and foremost thing was obviously to get in front of the team. And, we did it the best way we could at the time. And just so they could, get a sense of, who's coaching them. And, and I'm sure, they may have had an idea or whatever, or maybe reading between some lines, and maybe did their research, and maybe found out a little bit about, who I was and those kinds of things. But, that was obviously the first thing I told Brian. I just, that's what needs to be done. And, and then from there, you just, then you got to start, formulating what your staff's going to look like and who you're going to have. And still, that's always fluid. It's this time of year. There's a lot of coaches that are, kind of on the market, or, or being pulled a different way, one way or the other. And, we had some special coaches over at Grandview that certainly, I had, in mind over here. And, other people notice when you're successful, and, they kind of get pulled in different ways, and totally understandable. That's just how this profession works. And, so that's probably, the thing I'm spending my most time on right now, is just putting that staff together, and it's coming along, and getting closer and closer to some finalization. And once I kind of, feel like I got those things in place, then you can start sitting down kind of, and then I can convey kind of the, my plan. And I'm doing that individually with them as I'm talking to them too. So they kind of have an idea of what the expectations are. But that I would say that's probably what I'm working on most right now, evaluating, the recruits that they have that are committed. And I think they have I can't remember off the top of my head. I want to say it's 27 that are maybe signed, and 7 more that are committed maybe for the February one. And, so you're kind of taking a peek at those guys, and, and really, I haven't had much access to the, to actual Drake footage yet. And those things are coming. I know, again, it's a tough time of year. People are on vacations. It's that time of year. And believe me, I feel like I could use one, like I said, we just got done playing 9 days ago, and then you have kind of a life change, but you just can't, if you want to keep this thing going, if you want to be successful. And even when I'm maybe not here, my mind is always on it. Your phone is your mobile office anyways. And that's kind of what it is in this profession. So, but again, I would say it's, really just kind of trying to get this staff put together, and And then you start reaching out and start meeting with, other staff members, people that are going to touch your program and affect your program. And, I met the strength coaches this morning. And so there's just a lot of those things that you kind of take for granted when you're at a place for a while, and it's probably a good reminder you need to do more of it. Just continuing to, stay in touch with folks throughout campus. But there's just so many people I haven't met that I know that are going to be very vital in us having success. And it's just trying to compartmentalize those and, what's important now, you just try to focus on that. And to me right now is just, making sure I'm doing my homework, my research, and putting my best forward to surround, our team with great people. Number one, great teachers, great communicators. Those are kind of the qualities you're looking for in an assistant coach and or coordinators or what have you. And I'm very picky about it. So I gotta. It takes a little bit of time and. But I'm confident we'll get there and we'll feel really good about the guys surrounding these young men. And I think they'll be excited to go play for them.
Yesterday during your opening press conference, you said one of the things that attracted you about the move to Drake was getting out of your comfort zone a little bit. And just hearing you talk right there, you, in a matter of a week and a half, have gone from the highs of highs as a national champion to now you're starting at the very beginning. Can you just take us into like that feeling right now? You might not even been able to process that yet.
Yeah. It's, it's kind of, I don't know if gut wrenching is the right way to put it, because December 21st, Saturday, we reached the Paramount. And I don't set goals like that. We kind of move the goal as we keep going, to what happened on last Saturday. And, and you just feel this elation, relief, there's all these feelings all at once. And really it's, and for me, it was elation for our players. And that's what I've, would tell our guys year in and year out when I was a head coach at Grandview. And I'm like, hey, every team we've had has about the same amount of talent. How does this one want to be remembered? What's going to make this one special? And, we just had a group of guys that said enough's enough. And, this is our year and we're going to find a way to do it. And we really did it in convincing fashion, really left no doubt in that game. So it really, it was kind of nice. Like you weren't really stressing out a last second field goal, kind of what you'd expect in a national title. Like, we had a pretty good feeling that game was over heading into the fourth quarter and really, a good way through the third. But yeah, you're at the absolute high of highs, and again, I'll revert back to Brian and his patience and all that. Obviously there was interest on both sides, and I just said I'm not willing to do anything until because that was what it was important right now to me. Was that team, and I owed that to them, and so I was really appreciative of that. And and he still didn't. He kind of let me kind of reach out next and. Just kind of see where it went from there. But so yeah, it was really like a day and a half maybe of just like, hey, I just want to enjoy this just a little bit, and not have to start making life decisions right after. You'd kind of just like to kick your heels up and kind of do what you do. But this was just an opportunity that it was just so unique and so. It just doesn't happen. It's very rare how this played out. But at the end of the day, Michael, like you said, it really, the thing that just kind of made me, just do it, cause it would have been easy just to, stay there, be comfortable, be secure. And believe me, there's a lot of beauty in that. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes you get to a point in life and, you just like, man, not that it wouldn't have been challenging to go back, but this is a whole new challenge, a whole kind of different challenge. And that's really what it boiled down to. I just said, I feel like we've accomplished an awful lot there. I'm very proud of what we did there. But let's maybe, start a new chapter in life and, throw a curveball, and let's see if we can hit it. And that's where I'm at right now. I'm seeing if I can hit it, just trying to survive every day. But yeah, there's a lot of emotions, that took place in that decision. And, there will continue to be those emotions. And those are the things that you just got to continue to battle and fight through until you kind of get a real good understanding of, what it's like. Again, I'm just trying to survive. I don't know if survive's the right way to put it, but you're really living minute to minute right now. And that's not easy sometimes when you're used to just kind of having control and, but we'll get there. We'll get there. And I keep telling myself that, and, and hopefully it's a little sooner than later. And we can, I think once the guys get back and all those kinds of things are in place, that's where I'll be in my wheelhouse, I think. And, we'll be in a lot better shape at that time.
Part of the journey on the way to the NAIA National Championship was spent just next door at MediaCom Stadium. You guys got to come over here and play some games over here. Just curious, what was it like playing in that venue? And now you'll hop over to Drake Stadium for games next year.
Yeah, and again, I think that just shows the courtesy that Drake had. I appreciated them extending that and allowing us to do that, because it is as you guys I'm sure have seen, it's a pretty special venue. It's a pretty neat venue. We wanted to do something special for our guys, and we were in a situation where we shared a facility anyways, and this is a brand new, bright, shiny facility with all the bells and whistles, and we felt, our guys deserved that. And, we made the most of it, that it didn't look good in that first game. We were down 10 points at halftime. Like, man, maybe this wasn't a good decision to come over here and do this, kind of get our guys out of our comfort zone. But, try to make it as first class as possible. We chartered a bus over here just from down the street, really showing our appreciation for what our guys have done. And once we got to that second half of that first game and on, it was a pretty dominant performance through the course of that playoff run and MediaCom. And we had a ton of great feedback from, because I'd ask our guys, what'd you guys, is this something you continue to do or would like to do? And they're like, oh, coach, it was outstanding atmosphere. And, because it's a true football stadium, there's no track around the field, and fans are close. And I guess I should say it's obviously a soccer venue, for the Drake programs. But yeah, it was neat. It was special. And, it's kind of crazy. I did the walkthrough with Dylan and Jay, and I didn't know them. And, a few weeks later, here I am talking to them and, about a potential, more so Jay, obviously, but, about, potentially, being over here permanently. So, but yeah, it was great. And, certainly memories I'll always cherish. And, shoot, I get to drive by it every day too now. I'm not coming that way from work, but certainly couldn't see it if I wanted to every day coming into work. But, yeah, pretty neat deal.
Well, it's good to, your way around, and where the areas that you don't know around here yet, Jay and Dylan can hook you up on a tour as well.
Right. Yeah.
All right. For, obviously being here, we've gotten a chance to see with those Grandview teams, the makeup of those teams and the style in which you guys play. But for Drake fans that are tuning in that may not know you just yet, or may not have got a chance to see the Vikings play, what do you hope to build here within style, offensively, defensively?
Yeah. Well,
special teams too.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's, you hear the term thrown around quite a bit, but really you're just, and again, I know it sounds coaching cliche, but you're just trying to find a way to win the game, trying to play winning football. And, and I think the best way to do that, and I really doubled down on it, with our team last year. And we've always had physical football teams at Grandview. And, I look back at, some of the games that we lost, in those, semifinal games, championship games, quarterfinal games, and really the common denominator was in the games that we lost. I just felt that we weren't physical enough at the line of scrimmage. And and I believed we were a physical team, but when you're starting to go against the elite, how do you stack up? And, so I, really, it's really never X's and O's. It's, again, I think a lot of coaches kind of fall victim to that sometimes. I think they need to overhaul, change things, because it really does come back to, fundamentals, blocking, tackling, physicality. And, we challenged our guys, and to a man, you could ask them, like, this was the hardest year of practice. You asked the seniors, it was the hardest, most physical year of practice they had. And obviously it worked. And again, it wasn't magic. I just, we just kind of really, really emphasized that. And, we practiced Thursday night in Durham, North Carolina, in Duke's indoor facility. And it was a very physical practice. Like, hey, this is who we've been, and I'm not changing now just because we're close, and I don't want to get anybody hurt. Because what we did was, our bodies, their bodies were calloused. They were ready to roll, and that's why I believe we dominated in that final game. I mean, we rushed for 353 yards in the national title. I think that's the most yards we had rushing all year in a game against a really good defense. And, we held their run game. And I mean, we were the number one defense in the country in rushing yards allowed and points allowed. And, because we played a physical brand of football. And I think that's, that's what you'll see. That'll be my goal, with this, with the Drake football team. And my gut tells me they've been pretty darn physical here too, but I'll probably, I'll see where we're at and still kind of double down on that, because, that I truly believe that's what led to, the ultimate success that we had. We were going to have a successful season, but, we had a special one because we really bought into that. Our guys bought into that. And that's that's really the tough part in coaching. Do you have the right kind of guys in that locker room, the right kind of leadership to be an extension of the coaching staff and really buy into that? And I think that's what we had over there this past season. And from the sounds of things, it sounds like there's a lot of those, kind of alpha dogs and, that are back on this team. And certainly guys I'll lean on and, kind of be an extension of myself, the coaches. And, that's what makes up great teams, when you have, those players are really buying in and they're being an extension of you and really being a player led team. Those are the times when you're kind of, cooking with gas, so to speak, when you've got, those players are really holding each other accountable. And that's when you can be really special.
Coach, I know you got a ton on your plate right now, so I appreciate your time. Don't want to take any more of your time. This will be the first of many conversations throughout the years. I know Chuck Reed will probably get you on the podcast at some point here soon as well. So thanks for your time. We'll cut you free, let you get back to everything. But so happy to have you wearing Drake Blue on board here as a Bulldog. It's great to see. And let me know if there's anything I can ever do to help. I
appreciate it. And again, Michael, anytime I'm here to help you, and anything we can do to promote number one Drake University, Drake football, Drake athletics. I'm your guy, because I think you're such a pro and have been for a long time, and I respect that. And I know we mentioned, Todd Bailey before, and he was the best for us over there and really promoting us. And again, hopefully we can continue to do great things like that here. And I know you already are probably, but we're pretty fortunate over there. And again, because he was a pro just like you are, and that matters, and all those details matter. And I can't wait to continue this relationship as I've known you a long time, and not real long, but long enough. And like I said, just always had a great amount of respect for you. And I think it's so cool that you get to do this full time.
You're making me blush, man. I mean, I'm cutting this up. I'm going to send it over to Brian. So, hey, what do you think? Appreciate you.
It.
All right. There's Joe Woodley joining us on the 515 podcast. Appreciate his time here today, hanging out with us as we close out the new year. We'll drop the curtain on a great year as part of Drake Athletics. We will be back on the 515 podcast next Monday with more. With that, we'll talk to you next week.